Hello guys, welcome back to another roller coaster countdown. Wow, I'm doing another countdown. But today I'm going to be counting down my top 11 roller coasters at Kings Island, which is a park located inside Mason, Ohio, not too far from Cincinnati. And before I go into my top 11, the reason why I'm doing 11 instead of the 14 coasters that they do have is that I did miss out on 3 credits. One of them was the Great Pumpkin Coaster, and the other 2 are Woodstock Express and Flying Ace Aerial Chase. I unfortunately did not get to ride those because Kings Island was slammed. Like, it was probably one of the busiest parks I've ever seen. But it just happened that I won that day, and I'm pretty sure I'll probably return to Kings Island in the future, and I'll be able to get those 3, well, 2, because Great Pumpkin Coaster should probably get it. I'm not doing that. But in regards, let's count down to the 11 that we currently have right now. So, let's get to it.
Number 11, in Vertigo. Honestly, I really wish I enjoyed this roller coaster. I've heard some people have told me that this ride is actually a pretty good roller coaster. However, when I went, I unfortunately got a really bad ride on this thing. Like, I've ridden 5 of the traditional boomerangs, and this just, oh man, this is one of my least favorite roller coasters. It is such a headbanger. It essentially feels like an SLC on a Vekoma boomerang. And don't get me started on how bad the headbanging was on that Vertigo loop. That was just atrocious. Honestly, I wish Kings Island removes this roller coaster in the future and replaces it with something else. Like, this area could be used for maybe a potential Raptor or Gerstlauer Eurofighter. I don't know, just get rid of this thing. This thing is taking up space. It is awful. It is a waste of time. One of the worst coasters I've ever ridden, and that is that.
Number 10, Adventure Express. Even though this ride's coming in at number 10, I honestly really enjoyed this roller coaster. Like, for an Aero Mine Train, this is definitely one of the better ones. Was it rough? Definitely. I definitely felt a ton of bumps throughout the entire ride. However, some of the parts of this ride caught me off guard. Like, I didn't expect the lift hills to be so late in the ride, and I liked how the coaster used the terrain to its advantage. I didn't watch a POV going into the ride, so I kind of went into this thing completely blind. However, I was quite impressed. I know some people said that this coaster absolutely sucks, which I don't get because, I mean, this is more of a family style attraction. And also the theming at the end was so cool with the lift hill and like the whole animatronics. Like, that was awesome. Like, Kings Island definitely did well with theming then, and this is definitely one ride you won't want to miss. Number 9, Backlot Stunt Coaster. This was my second Backlot Stunt Coaster clone. The first one that I rode was at King's Dominion, and these clones are really fun. Now, I don't remember this ride being really jerky. However, I liked this one more than a King's Dominion version because the effects actually worked, unlike the one at King's Dominion where it just felt like a block break zone. However, I feel like this is Cedar Fair's attempt at a Disney-style ride. If this ride were at Disney, I feel like this ride would be even better. But I mean, I know like they had to get rid of like the sound effects and stuff because of copyright with Paramount. But even now, the ride's still cool. It's a great ride for all families, and this is one ride I definitely suggest riding. Number 8, Bat. This was my first ever aero suspended roller coaster, and for it being my first aero suspended, I actually really enjoyed it. Now, my dad has ridden Big Bad Wolf, and he says that this coaster is actually pretty close to being almost as good as Big Bad Wolf, and people say Big Bad Wolf is definitely the best aero suspended coaster of all time, which I wish I rode that, but I mean, this coaster honestly is quite underrated. The swinging is quite aggressive, it's actually decently intense, and I just feel like this is a coaster that swoops around the trees really well, and overall, this is a great family attraction. Definitely an underrated ride. Now beware, because those lines get long. Number 7, Racer. Do you guys remember when I said that I rode Rebel Yell and I thought it was very underwhelming because it gave no airtime? Well, the Racer fixes all of that. I actually got some really good airtime on this thing, and the coaster wasn't too rough. This is a definition of a classic roller coaster. Now, when I rode this coaster, they only ran one side, which I rode the blue side. The red side was currently down when we rode it. However, I still had a great time riding this thing, and And yeah, it wasn't too rough like I said earlier, and the airtime was actually quite strong, and I definitely overall enjoyed this ride way more than Rebel Yell or Racer 75, which I'm still not calling it Rebel Yell. I don't know why King's Dominion changed it. Ah! Number 6, Flight of Fear. Now look, I am one who actually enjoys Flight of Fear clones. I know some people are not a fan of these clones, saying that they're jerky and rough. However, yeah, I think this ride's kind of jerky. However, I still really enjoy it. The thing is, you just gotta know how to ride these things and not go into it thinking it's gonna be a super smooth ride. Just gotta go into it thinking it's gonna be forceful, intense, and a ride that really does throw you for a loop, because this thing is dark and there are points where you don't even know that you're upside down, which is awesome. And I would say this is probably the most intense roller coaster at Kings Island, as you get tons of forces all over the place, and in fact it's in the dark. It's just a fun ride, but again, these lines get super long, so definitely go to this one early. Number 5, Orion. Yeah, I know, go ahead, give me all the hate you want. I think this coaster is overrated. Did I still love it? I did. It was a fantastic roller coaster, but this coaster left me a little disappointed. But this coaster will remain a special one for me because it was my 150th roller coaster. Now, things that I did love about Orion was its consistent speed. This thing felt so freaking fast, and it felt fast throughout the entire ride. I felt the 91 miles per hour throughout the entire layout until we hit the final brakes. It was a very fast roller coaster, and for the airtime moments that it gave, there was some very strong airtime. It's more floater airtime than ejector, but you still got it, and it is extremely smooth. I mean, it's a new freaking B&M, so of course it's gonna be smooth. And there were some moments where there were forces. Now the cons of this thing was that, yeah, it's not the world's most intense roller coaster, but I also wish this ride had more low to the ground moments, kind of like Fury 325. I was just going into this ride thinking it was going to be something like Fury, and I was disappointed when it wasn't. This is why you shouldn't go into this ride thinking it's going to be like Fury. If I didn't think that, I probably would have liked this ride even more. Now, I only rode it once, and I've heard the more you ride it, the more you appreciate it. So the next time I go to Kings Island, I'm definitely going to marathon this thing, and I'll probably like it even more. It'll probably go up in my rankings, but for right now, it is coming in at number 5. Number 4, Banshee. Yes, I liked this ride way more than Orion. However, like, this coaster was probably one of the biggest surprises of my entire Ohio trip. I was going into this ride thinking it was going to be very overrated because it has those vest restraints, which I am not a fan of them on Wild Eagle. However, I got way more breathing room on this coaster, and in fact all the coasters in Ohio that had these restraints. And even though the inversions are way more spread out on this roller coaster, it still felt so freaking intense, which is what I love about these inverted coasters. And it gave this crazy soaring feeling that I've never felt on a roller coaster, but it felt so good, even if that's a weird thing to say. And people said this coaster has a very strong rattle, and I did not feel a rattle in this coaster. I don't know if I rode it on a good day or not, but it felt extremely smooth to me, and I loved the soaring feel. And this coaster is without a doubt one of my favorite inverted coasters that I've ever been on. Do I like it more than Montu? I mean, time will tell, but this coaster for right now is coming in at number 4 at Kings Island, and is without doubt one of the best inverts I've been on. Number 3, Diamondback. Of the 3 B&Ms at Kings Island, this was definitely my favorite one of the 3. And this is also one of my new favorite hyper coasters. Is it my favorite B&M hyper? No, I still prefer Mako, but I definitely loved Diamondback for what it was. This is what I wished Intimidator at Carowinds were like, where there's only one trim and you're getting some spectacular floater airtime, where on Intimidator you're getting more weak airtime and there's like 2 trims, which I don't get whatsoever, Intimidator! But going back to Diamondback, this coaster had, like I said, it has some awesome airtime, and it was pretty smooth for the most part. There was some spots where it got a little rattly, but I understand it's because of age. This coaster is 12 years old, it's been running for a long time now, but it still felt very smooth, and I love the B&M clamshell restraints. And the setting of the ride's awesome, how it goes out into the woods. And I'm definitely debating if I like this or Goliath more. I'll have to really think about it, because I love Goliath's intensity, but I love Diamondback's setting. Number 2, the Beast. This one might come as a huge shock to some people that I'm putting Beast at number 2. When I was going into this ride, I was thinking it was going to be fun, but I wasn't going to be very impressed because the layout is kind of just a bunch of straight sections. However, what makes the Beast so good is how it goes out into the woods and the fact that it's rough, which you might be like, Zach, are you crazy for thinking that a coaster is so good because it's rough? The roughness adds to the Beast. It gives it a crazy aggressive feel where you feel like you're going even way faster than you actually are. Now, I unfortunately did not get one of those legendary night rides that the Beast has, but I almost have it. I mean, I got one towards the sunset. One year I'll go back and ride Beast when it gets super dark out, but you really go just deep into the woods, and if this thing were smooth, it wouldn't be. It would just feel like a monorail essentially. Like the POV, don't judge a ride based off of the POV. This is what the Beast taught me. Go to it, just ride the coaster, and then judge it what it's like. Because this thing, it just felt crazier than it actually looks. Like, it even gave some of the best laterals in the second half. When you're going through those tunnels, oh, it's so good. Like, I get the legendary hype for the Beast, and it makes me just want to marathon the crud out of this thing, because I really did love this roller coaster. And this is what I wish Grizzly were like. And that is going to be my number 2 spot, and coming at number 1 is... Number 1, Mystic Timbers. This is not only my favorite roller coaster at Kings Island, not only my favorite GCI that I've been on, but it's my favorite wooden roller coaster that I have ridden. Excluding Lightning Rod, just my favorite traditional wooden roller coaster, because there is so many aspects to Mystic Timbers. What made it so good was from its crazy insane ejector, to its crazy fast-paced layout, to its smoothness, to just the out of control, where are we going feeling. There's just a lot of aspects to Mystic Timbers as to what made it so good. And also, this is very much an overall experience roller coaster, because there are some bits of theming on this ride. And plus, you go out into the woods like Diamondback and the Beast, and you're going over riverways, over the train, I think, as well. And yeah, this coaster is just jam-packed all over the place. And yes, what is in the shed? Just a mid-course brake run, but you know what? It's a good mid-course brake run. And Mystic Timbers is definitely my favorite coaster at Kings Island.
Well, that is going to do it here for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, feel free to give it a like. Also, remember to comment below, what are your favorites at this park if you have been to this park? And also, don't forget to subscribe for more videos in the future if you sure enjoyed this one. And don't forget to turn on your post notifications so you know whenever I post a new video. And also, don't forget to check out Theme Park Guy Productions on all social media platforms. They'll be in the description below. Instagram, TikTok, Discord. Go check it out because I want you. I'll see you guys next time, man. You're clear for dispatch.